Welcome to the Str8 Show, your one-stop destination for intriguing conversations with extraordinary individuals who are boldly navigating life outside the conventional norms. Our host, Scott Fullerton, is thrilled to embark on this journey of discovery with all of you. The Str8 Show, we believe that every person's story is unique, and it's our mission to showcase the diversity of human experiences. We bring you the untold stories of fascinating people who identify as LGBT+ and allies, pushing boundaries, breaking stereotypes, and making a positive impact in our communities. On this show, we bring you a diverse lineup of inspiring guests, from activists to artists, and entrepreneurs to entertainers, and everything in between. We dive deep into their personal journeys, discovering the pivotal moment that has shaped their lives and careers. You can expect thought-provoking discussions on a wide range of topics, from LGBTQ rights, social justice to arts, culture, mental health, and more. Our guests are change makers who share their insights, challenges, and triumphs, igniting conversation that promotes empathy, understanding, and love. So whether you're part of the LGBTQ community or an ally looking to expand your knowledge and show your support, the Str8 Show is for you. Together, we can build bridges of understanding and acceptance, celebrating the beauty of what makes us all unique. So sit back, grab a drink, and get ready for the show.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Str8 Show interviews. I'm your host, as always, Scott Fullerton, and it's the holidays. I'm counting my blessings that I get to talk to such amazing celebrities and personalities from the worlds of entertainment, foodies, books, music, and advocacy, all from our amazing LGBTQ community and terrific straight allies. Today, I am thrilled to have the incredible talented Vincent Rodriguez III joining me in studio. Vincent's known for his portrayal of Josh Chan in the critically acclaimed TV series Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. His dynamic performances, though, has not only captivated audiences, but also shed light on the Asian American representation in media, which I think is fantastic. Besides acting, Vincent's passion for the performing arts extends to singing and dancing, and he showcases versatility as an artist and also as an openly gay actor. Vincent has been a vocal advocate for LGBTQ rights and representation all throughout the entertainment industry. It's going to be a great chat, so let's welcome to the show for the very first time, Mr. Vincent Rodriguez III. Vinny, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, Scott. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate you coming on. I've been doing the show since 2015. Of course, you were just blowing up then with Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, so I didn't even try to get a hold of you. But I've tried a couple of times. This is the first time I was able to kind of pin you down. I guess an actor strikes out for
Hey,
me for some reason. Not as much fun for you, but I get a chance on occasion. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Had a great workout this morning. It's been quite busy because I have a movie coming out this Saturday, Christmas on Cherry Lane on the Hallmark Channel. And so as per your email that you sent, I got my coffee and I got my little Hallmark Channel
I
mug
like it.
that they
Cheers.
sent me. Cheers. But I also needed water. And so, of course, I whipped out the Disney tall
You
water
are
jug. So
on point, my friend. I
So,
love it.
it's a nice blend because of this
No problem.
Saturday. I mean, I'm hearing, I don't know what the stats are. I'm not paying too much attention to what people are saying about the movie, but I've heard that this is, I think, one of the first Hallmark movies starring a same-sex couple.
I love it. I love it. I think that's fantastic, and we need more of that. So good on you for that.
Yay!
I mean, I'm excited to talk to you. I got to tell you, I've been doing this for 6 years, and I try to do a lot of research. And you're one of
Huh?
the, out of about 300 interviews, there's about 15 people doing my research. I just like fall in love all over again. You've done such great interviews. You're always so positive, and I mean, we all have our bad days, of course, off camera, but at least on camera and your interviews and everything, you do such positivity and light, do great representation for the LGBTQ community. So thank you very much for that. It's been just an honor to talk to you today.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Scott. It's people have asked me about that, about my personality, and to be perfectly honest, I choose to be this kind of person. I saw a really awesome interview with Kristen Bell, who is the
Right.
one of the voices on Frozen, and I mean, Good
Sure.
Place. I mean, she's incredible. Um, she became an instant role model to me as soon as I saw this interview she did about mental health and about her relationship to mental health and how her mom kind of told her when she was growing up, you might encounter some of these challenges growing up because of what runs in our family. And what the mom was really preparing her for was some of the mental health challenges. And from that interview, Kristen Bell went on to say that she struggles with some of those things, but she chooses to be a certain kind of person, and she cultivates that, she curates that. And that really resonated with me in terms of how I've been going about navigating my career, and how I've taken time away from shining a spotlight on myself to being a student, to being a teacher, to again shining spotlights on myself, and singing karaoke and going to piano bars. And I think those days for me are kind of in the past, because when I was doing that, it was a lot of fun, but I wasn't doing it for a very healthy reason. And now I'm on this new path, and the new path I'm on is about community and about compassion. And I think we need that right now in the world, which is one of the reasons why I am extremely grateful to say that in the past few years, during the pandemic, one of the toughest times we've ever had, I found an acting school, and I found a new sense of confidence, and I got this opportunity to audition for this new romantic comedy called With Love. And they had a bisexual Filipino character, and I auditioned and I got it and did 2 seasons of that. Fast forward a year or two later, and Hallmark is calling me up saying, would you like to be in this movie, playing opposite Jonathan Bennett? And I read the script and I thought, this is an adorable script. I love these characters. I love how it's written. Rick Garman, I'm pronouncing his last name. Sorry, Rick. But Rick wrote the screenplay. Gail Harvey directed it. She did an amazing job, and we had such a fun time filming it in Vancouver. And I just can't say enough good things about this movie. There was a lot of love on set making this movie, so I'm excited for people to finally see it.
I love that. Well, I got questions on all that. We're going to get back to them. And I actually had one on mental health when we get down to Crazy
Mhm.
Ex-Girlfriend, because I think you guys address so
Yeah.
many key issues in that show. So we'll get back to that in a second. But I do like to ask all my newbies on the show 2 questions. I ask everybody for the first time.
Okay.
So hopefully it's the first of many. We'll have you back. But first, give a
Okay.
little bit for people that might not be as familiar with the background. Tell me about where you grew up and what kind of a kid were you?
Oh, sure. So, yeah, my name is Vincent Rodriguez III. Everyone calls me Vinny, a nickname I got from the first national tour of 42nd Street, which I booked right out of college in 2003. Um, and yeah, ever since I started in LA on set, I've been Vinny. But I am originally from San Francisco, California, a suburb of it, more specifically, Daly City, which I affectionately call the West Covina of San Francisco, which is where my character Josh Chan on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was from.
And I was
And
born and raised, believe it or not. I mean,
oh, awesome! San
when I
Gabe's
first saw the
Vals,
show, it was
San Gabriel
amazing.
Valley.
I went to South Hills High School, Muscovy. I mean, I know the area, and when you're singing a song about my old hometown, and I've been banished here to Northeast Ohio, you made a hit parade on me and all my friends list. That's for sure.
Well, what's funny is I was actually singing part of that song you're talking about on TikTok Live this morning. People were messaging saying, "Is Josh Chen on my FYP?" And I noticed all these people started to follow me, and it made me realize like there's a lot of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend fans that don't know I'm on TikTok. And not only am I on TikTok, but like I am on TikTok. I am putting up dancing videos, transition videos. I teach aside from my pursuit of being an actor. And so I get to post all kinds of content. And because of my various interests in, singing, dancing, acting, martial arts, magic, I'm a musician. I play piano and clarinet and drums. And yeah, and being a gymnast and all doing weapons work and all kinds of stuff. So it's fun to like post videos and see all my worlds kind of collide in
I
this
got it.
awesome,
Oh my
fun social
God.
media space. Yeah, but yes,
Multi-hyphenate extraordinaire.
well, it started back from so I'm from Daly City, and my love of arts came when I was a kid. I was that baby who would rock himself to sleep when you put him in the rocker, and as soon as I could get up and walk, uh, I was copying Michael Jackson music videos and asking my mom to buy me the outfit. I think the first musical I ever saw was Newsies, starring Christian Bale, and I fell in love with musicals. And Kenny Ortega, the director choreographer of that movie, Hocus Pocus, like
Yes.
Xanadu, and he directed me in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend in season 1. So that was a nice little like cool coincidence. And when I went to acting school after high school, at the Pacific Conservatory of Performing Arts in Santa Maria, California, I was doing Peter Pan, and one of the double casted roles was John. And John, one of the Johns was Zac Efron of High School Musical, directed by Kenny Ortega. So years after working with him, it was very jarring to see him on my TV screen and just seeing him be a movie star. And I was so happy for him and proud of him. And so it's just funny how all these roads kind of intersected. But yeah, I'm from the Bay Area, and I grew up as a music kid, playing piano, playing clarinet in band, taking martial arts, getting my first black belt at 8th grade, my second black belt in my junior year of high school. I also was a volunteer at my high school. We were called service commissioners, so we had special green hats we would wear, and we'd be excused from the first 5 minutes of class and the last 5 minutes of class to patrol the hallways and to keep the hallways clean and safe. And I was a magician in high school, so I always carried around a deck of cards. I was in martial arts still. I was just starting to transition into dance training because I never took a dance class until my senior year of high school, which was in 1999. And by 2003, I was on the first national tour of 42nd Street, the Broadway top musical, and just living my dreams. So yeah, so that's a little background on me. I'm a music nerd, a musical theater nerd. I came out somewhere around 17, dealing with my sexuality, and thankfully I had a lot of great mentors. People that were twice my age who were helping me understand who I wanted to be and how to navigate this choice I get to make in accessing all of me, not knowing who I really was quite yet, but knowing that I had support and that it was okay to be in transition. And that really set me on an amazing path because I became a teacher, a mentor, and I think I've gotten better in those roles as time has gone on. And in the last few years, especially with the pandemic, I became a student again. So I started training at the Acting Center for acting. I worked with a new voice teacher, Michael Scott Harris, here in LA, and started taking dance at Millennium Dance Complex and with Bill Prudich, the former owner of Edge Performing Arts. And I took a break from all the stunt and action training I was doing with Mike Chatt and Travis Wong over at Joining All Movement, 87 North. Yeah, it just got really overwhelming. It still kind of is, because I have all these interests and I still want to play an action hero, but I also love rom-coms, and I'm writing my own material now and starting my YouTube channel and working with a social media manager to help get my content, my artistic content out there, because I think we're in a new age now where it's not about like being an influencer necessarily, but for those of us who are artists in the business, whether you're TV, film, or voiceover, or motion capture, or stunts, or what have you, but there's an artistic influencer title that hasn't been owned, and I think we're in that age now where there's a really blurred line, because we're seeing all these influencers come up on TikTok, but those influencers are actually just amazing dancers, choreographers who use the TikTok platform to build themselves up. And now they're celebrated by so many and they connect to so many. And it's a powerful and really cool thing to go on your phone and my phone's right there, and just click a few buttons, and all of a sudden 60 people, 100 people, 1,000 people could just be watching you, and you could just be having lunch or whatever, and they can ask questions and just get to know you, and they can be from all over the world, and it's a pretty amazing feeling to be that connected to people from so far away who appreciate your work. So I'm very grateful.
I love the I love the way you put that. I mean, I've been doing this for 8 years now, and when it first started out, it was when acting was tough, so it was getting a lot of web series. People were creating their own content that way through themselves, and now I think we're seeing that on TikTok. And we've had a pandemic, we've had an actor strike, people learning podcasting and learning to do that artistic stuff again, and really kind of building up from their experiences. So I think that's very well said. I appreciate you saying that. And then the second question you kind of just answered, but I'll go back to it anyway. I always
Mhm.
like to ask when you came out to yourself and when you first kind of found your tribe. So at 17, you came out to others. When did you really kind of
Yes.
start questioning yourself? And where do you feel you kind of started finding that LGBTQ tribe? Where did you find those at?
Oh, I mean, well, as a young gay man in the 90s, it was really online. Then that's not uncommon for any member of the LGBTQ community to say, we went online. Um, we were always here, we found each other. Even when you go back to like the Stonewall days, like homosexuals and people who were non-binary, like we just found one another somehow. We were the misfits. But really, it's more like we're extraordinary. We're not normal. We're not ordinary people. Which is no different than people who are neurodivergent. Someone might see themselves as like, oh, I'm autistic. It's like you could see that as a crutch, but if you know how to leverage that for yourself, all of a sudden that's your strong suit, and now you're able to achieve things that no one else can because of this thing that you thought was a disability. And so, when so I think for me, um, 16, 17 was when I really started to chat with men and find out that I had rapport and I could just have conversations and talk about various things. And some of those people I'm still friends with, you know, because in a way, if you think about it, one of the things that isn't really talked about or celebrated in the gay community is the sense of mentorship of kind of bringing in the new generation, of LGBTQ representation. And I see it a lot it's beautiful. I love seeing it in the trans community and the non-binary community. Um, they really choose their family. And I think that's so beautiful. And I think that's a beautiful way of looking at your life. There is the family you're born with, and then there's your chosen family, the people you choose to spend time with. Or like you said, Scott, your tribe. That took me a while to learn. Tribe. I use that word every morning now. It's in my affirmations and my gratitude list. Oh yeah. There is no way I'd be where I am today without the past and present members of my tribe. I could go all day telling you stories, excuse me, of the different people and different moments that I shared where someone invested in me because they just had faith in me when I didn't have much. Honest to God. So I have a home now. I have a husband. I have a dog. I have a car. We have two cars. You know, that was not a part of my life when I first started in New York City. And, I spent 11 years there pursuing a goal that I never achieved, but I ended up achieving all these other um, related things that were kind of even bigger and led to more abundance. So I went to New York to be on Broadway, and that never happened. I got everything but the Broadway show. I got to work with Broadway people, Broadway rehearsal rooms, Broadway music, Broadway caliber, everything else, but no Broadway contract. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend came along and just changed my life. And so yeah, how I got here though, my tribe. I'm still connected to a lot of the people who helped me get here. Whether it was that turning point from high school into adulthood, or my time in New York where people were buying me lunches and dinners, and you know, I made some friends and lost some friends in New York because I was figuring myself out, trying to figure out who I wanted to be and how to show up. And as a 41-year-old gay Filipino actor living in Los Angeles who's married, there's still more to figure out. And I'm not done with what I want to make as an artist, and I'm not done with the impact I want to make as a human being while I'm here. So I feel very fortunate that I found my tribe, and that I started that process of coming out when I was ready, which was really, it was like I was 16. And that was really when I was starting to talk to my friends, none of which were gay, but very supportive. And they knew before I even told them. And I started to befriend older gay men and who were able to kind of guide me, point me in the right direction, and have conversations with me that I just didn't know I needed to be having. And now that I know that, I was able to talk with many people who are going through very similar things, whether they're an older gay man talking about coming out very late in their life, which I've had that conversation, or younger gay men who are figuring themselves out or discovering their sexual preference or dealing with their sexual identity and like how they want to identify. Like all those themes came up. So I feel very blessed to have grown up in that kind of organic way, building and developing my compassion, because that definitely resonates in my work now as an actor. I only know that because I see the comments. I don't reach for compliments anymore. I'm a recovering perfectionist, and so I actually stray away from, like, I like feedback, and notes are fine, but I'm not there yearning for applause or critiques, because I spent a lot of my life focusing so much on that, and it just really paralyzed me. And I don't want to live my life like that anymore. I just found I'm more useful if I believe in myself and have more confidence, and kind of let go of those things that really don't serve me,
Well said again. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Let's talk into the career a little bit. I want to go back right
Mhm.
before Crazy Ex-Girlfriend stage. I mean, La Jolla Playhouse, Paper Mill Theater. I mean, you're
Where's my
dance
poster?
captain. You're doing some amazing work. I mean, I would pay $1 million to see you and Leah and Conrad and Here Lies Love. I mean, I just think amazing. I love your career, my friend, and I love the things you talk about your theater background, though. And I mean, you talk about you weren't on Broadway. You did hit Radio City Music Hall, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Goodness.
Yes, this is true. This is true. I didn't know if that counted, but yes, I can say with confidence I played 2 sold out nights at Radio City Music Hall, and I got to have my own number on stage alone, and I danced across that whole stage. And I got to do choreography that I assistant choreographed, and it was to one of my favorite songs in the show that was written for me because of one of my idols, Gene Kelly, Head in the Clouds. So I got to do a Gene Kelly song and dance number written for me, inspired by Gene Kelly, on the Radio City Music Hall stage. And in one of those nights, Lin-Manuel Miranda's mic was right next to mine backstage, and I was just trying not to freak out. Yeah, there's a photo too. I have a photo of like my mic, and next to it, it says number 10, Lynn's mic, and it has a note on, like, someone wrote it on Sharpie, like tape, and then wrote on the tape, "Shh, it's a secret. Don't tell anybody." We're like, "Oh yeah, don't," because there's a big secret, like that Lynn was there. But yeah, so my time in New York. After I graduated from the Pacific Conservatory of Performing Arts in 2003, I graduated in May, and by August, I was still there doing the summer stock. So I was doing theater there. I was wrapping up Wonderful Town, and I booked the first national tour of 42nd Street, and I was fortunate enough to book it. I had a month off, so I went back home to San Francisco. I worked at Starbucks again, because that's where I worked before I went to PCPA. I worked for a month, knowing full well that I'd go to Sacramento, which is the next city that they were in. Ironically, while I was working at Starbucks, they were in San Francisco. So yeah. Oh
Full
yeah. I
Inception.
worked at
Full Inception
I
moment.
worked Scott. I worked at Fourth and Market, and I remember one day I was like, "Oh, I want to meet the company managers." So I jogged during the day on Market Street to the Golden Gate Theater where they played. And I met the company managers, and I remember the feeling of like, do I belong here? Ooh. And
Can I
because I
give
had
you a
never done
side
a
note real
tour.
quick? I worked and I lived in Monterey for 2 years, so I was close. I'd go up to San Francisco. My very first time I went to San Francisco, I wanted to get my friend's ticket to Cats. Was playing at the Golden Gate, all excited. Not the best part of town, or was it when I went there? And I
No,
was so
no,
scared my first time in San Francisco. But yeah, that's funny. I love it. But the Golden Gate, it was a nice theater.
it
once
is great
once you
theater.
get
I mean,
inside.
yeah, that area needs some TLC for sure. But yeah, I met the company managers, and I think it was, and then like a few weeks later, the tour went to Sacramento. I was flown there. I learned the show there. I had 24 hours of dance rehearsal, 4 days, 6 hours each day. I learned the entire track, my track for 42nd Street. So the opening, We're in the Money, everything, but not everything. So I learned, and then I also that week had a 2 hour music rehearsal, and that was it. And then I had a week off, so I went back home to my parents' house. And then the following week, they flew us to Portland, and that was the opening city. So we all land in Portland. I have what's called a put-in rehearsal. So me and the other two actresses who were in the ensemble, we were the newbies. So we had a put-in rehearsal where it's the whole entire cast, but the only people in costume are the three people getting put into the show. And you basically go through the entire show number by number, and there's a pause after the number happens. Everyone like doesn't move. And the stage manager comes on stage and goes, "Everything good?" We go to the dance captain. "Good. Did it look good to you? Do you have any?" And checks in. And we basically did that for every single number until we ran through the whole show. And at the end, they ask you, "Are you ready to open tonight?" And each one of us gets to answer. And then everyone applauds. And then mine was, and then I applauded, went back to my dressing room, and the stage manager comes up and says, "We are missing a piece of your costume. So unfortunately, you will not be opening tonight until we get that piece." I said, "Oh, okay." And I got kind of bummed. And then wardrobe came in and said, Vinny. And I'm like, "Yes." "Guess what came in the mail?" And I went, "Oh."
Yeah.
And they said, I was like, "My shoes?" I was like, "Yeah." I went, "Does that mean?" And they said, "Yeah." "Do you want to open tonight?" And I said, "Yeah." And I did. So I got to open that night. And I did the opening number of 42nd Street. Da-da, da-da, yeah. And I hit that pose, and I swear to God, the amount of applause, I'd never heard that much applause in my entire life. It was so intense that I actually went like this. I hit the pose, and I went, like it moved me backwards. I'm leaning forward, mind you, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Excuse me. So that was my very first national tour, my first big job out of college, and that set me on a path. And so after the 9 months of touring in that show, I went to New York, slept on couches for 3 months, literally couches, no home, no money, 60-pound duffel bag, auditioning for everything. I'm now in the union, so I'm auditioning for everything. Wicked, Beauty and the Beast, all the things. And I audition. August rolls around. A friend of mine flies me up to a trip somewhere in Toronto with him and his buddies as a treat. I cross the border. I have two voicemails. One is for the original cast of Irving Berlin's White Christmas, directed by Walter Bobby, same director of Chicago, and the choreographer of 42nd Street on Broadway, Randy Skinner. The other offer is for the Thoroughly Modern Millie national tour to be in the ensemble and cover the two lead roles of Bunfu and Cheng Ho. I turned down Thoroughly Modern Millie, even though I nailed that audition. I still remember my sing mo di la sai lao lei si hai hoi gong chong wen yaman. I had to speak in Cantonese and sing in Mandarin, and I'm absolutely obsessed with Rob Ashford's choreography to Thoroughly Modern Millie. I've taught it so many times because I'm like, everyone should know this. Like, if you do musical theater, you need to know this combination because it's genius. It was his first musical he choreographed. And Joanne Hunter, who's a Broadway legend, Asian dancer on Broadway. She's stunning. She auditioned me for that tour, and I remember her coming up to me after the dance call and saying, "Have you been in for Bun Fu and Ching Ho?" And I went, "No." She was like, "What? We need to get you in there." And of course, and then I got in there, and they heard me sing. They saw I can act, and they were like, "You." And then I turned that down to be in the original cast of Irving Berlin's White Christmas, which the following year was done in 3 different cities at the same time. And the first time in history, one show auditioned 3 companies in the same building on 3 different floors at 890 Broadway, the same place they rehearsed Fosse and he filmed All That Jazz. And so I got to be a part of this epic new piece of theater that I got to help create. I was the original waiter at Jimmy's, and I still know this choreography. Randy Skinner, his choreography sits in my body so well because it's all based on the MGM musicals, starring Fred Astaire, Judy Garland, Donald O'Connor, all the greats. And yeah, that kind of set me off. I did a bunch of regional theater in New York. Regional theater started to dwindle away for me because I wanted to break out of being in the ensemble. And somewhere in there, I did a production of Oklahoma at Arena Stage. It won the Helen Hayes Award. They brought us back. And somewhere after that, the audition for Hamilton came up, and then an audition for Here Lies Love came up, and then an audition for the Tupac Shakur musical on Broadway came up. And that's when things got fun because I went on the national tour of Anything Goes, traveled a guitar with me, learned a little guitar, came back from that tour, and Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame, the recording's like sitting right in front of me. They were auditioning, and I got a message on Facebook saying, "Hey, are you in town?" I'm like, "Hey, bud," it's my friend who's the music director of Hunchback. I was like, I'm back in town next week. Why? Because, by the way, congrats on Hunchback. I saw that you're music directing it. He was like, "Thanks, man. We actually had auditions this week." I said, "I know, and I'm so bummed I missed them." He said, "Well, don't be too bummed because we didn't find what we were looking for. So we're having another round of auditions next week. Can I put you on the list?" And I swear to God, when he said that to me, I don't know if I've probably said this in an interview before, but when he said that to me, and he said, "We have auditions next week. I'm putting you on the list, and we're having auditions again because we didn't find what we were looking for." My honest to God thought in my head to myself was, "Well, that's because you haven't seen me yet." And that's exactly what happened. So I went in, I sang, I booked it, so I did the workshop of that show. And then somewhere after that came I did that at La Jolla, I did that at Paper Mill, and then I auditioned for Holla If You Hear Me, which involved a song by Tupac Shakur on guitar. You had to rap and sing and accompany yourself. And then shortly after that audition, I didn't get that audition for Here Lies Love, and I got it. But while I was rehearsing Here Lies Love at the Public, the second year, understudying Conrad Ricamora, understudying Jose Lana, Kelvin Moonlow, I heard that All If You Hear Me wanted to hire me, like offer me the job, and I had to turn it down, and so that I could do Here Lies Love, and I did. And then while doing Here Lies Love, that's when the audition for this character in this musical TV show, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, came up, and the role was Josh Chang, and they said, "Please show your musical ability, i.e., sing, rap, musical instrument, etc." Well, in my brain, I thought, do all those things. And I already had that song from the Tupac Shakur musical that I auditioned for, but kind of didn't get, but then would have ended up getting, but I didn't do it. So in my head, I went, well, how often in life do you get to find out why something happens? So I auditioned with that song, and to this day, I'm so grateful because Rachel has gone on to say that when she saw my audition tape and she saw me sing and accompany myself on guitar and sing Tupac Shakur's Thug Mansion, she went, "That's Josh. Only Josh would do that. This guy's Josh Chan. Like, he's Josh." And I never had to re-sing that song again. I never played guitar on the show. I never rapped on the show. So, but that was my audition.
An interview where Rachel basically said, it's like, we were excited. We're creating our own series. I had some friends involved. Then all of a sudden comes Vincent, and sorry, friends, I got a new Josh here. I mean, she wasn't really expected, and you just wowed her, my friend. So that is amazing. I love it.
Oh, thank you. It's really one of those stories of the way I got the job was not because of my typical route, which is, oh, I'm going to find out what they like, be what they like, and then book it. I had no idea what they wanted. So instead of trying to guess what they wanted, I interpreted what they wrote. And I gave them what was on the page, but then I've been learning this in the last few years with my new acting school. But I took what they gave me, but then I used my research and development skills and I added my ideas to it, and then I created a new version. So Josh wasn't really meant to be as warm, but I put that in there because I didn't want him to be a caricature. He probably started off like that because that's what he needed to be for Rebecca. But as the seasons go on, we realize Josh is a product of the past and he's not really moving on, and it's hurting him. And so that became part of his story, and that's a story I know quite well. And so I felt very supported in putting those elements into the character and working with the showrunner, Aline Brosh McKenna, who's a genius, and our stellar writers room, some of which who were in the show with us because they were like amazing actors and singers and performers as well. And even the ones that didn't perform, it didn't matter. We still had the funnest, most like talented writers room. It was magic. It was always magic. Seeing a writer on set or visiting the writers room, we would just go and visit and say, "Hey, what's up, guys?" Like we had a very familial company at Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and that's thanks to Rachel Bloom and Aline Brush McKenna and the creatives, the leaders that they had supporting our show.
Well, that's a great transition because I do want to go into there, but like I said, my two big fandoms are superheroes and Broadway, and so I want to see you.
Perfect.
I want to see you anywhere on stage. You call me, I'm going to fly there. Your next thing, but I got I had a super treat this weekend. I went to GalaxyCon in Columbus, Ohio, and Grant Gustin was doing a panel, so I got to go up and ask him a question. And he's opening Water for Elephants on Broadway, so I get to go backstage and meet him when he comes to Broadway. So anything you got, I will be there, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
I love theater. That's fantastic. So let's kind of, like I said, transition into a little more of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend because, as I said earlier, it had such great themes. It had an LGBTQ couple. It had mental health issues. It really embraced the Filipino culture. I mean, talk about that perfect storm. That had to be super exciting for your first big project for all those things that come together. Talk about that for just a sec.
It was amazing. I had never been on a TV show before. I mean, I don't think my under five on One Life to Live really counts, or playing Asian Tucker Hope in the Onion News really counts. But yeah, it was a spoiling experience because one, our set was extraordinarily kind, and there was more females than males working in our company, especially in positions of power. So that was already a huge difference. We just also had this compassion, this friendliness, this collaborative spirit that Rachel and Aline really championed, and I learned from them how to lead by example and how to be kind and how to go through the proper channels and how to collaborate and how to bring your ideas to the forefront. And Rachel, because she was not only a creator but also the star of the show and in a lot of these numbers with us, she did an amazing job balancing the fact that she is a boss lady, but she's also in the show. She's a fellow player, she's a part of the company. And so yeah, it was a pretty magical experience, getting to be amidst what was so groundbreaking then. Our show was initially assumed to not do well because of the name, but that was before people knew what it was. And once they found out what it was, oh man, I've been approached by 11-year-old girls. My mom is wondering, she's over there, are you Josh Chan? And then I look over and I just see And I was like,
Love that.
"Hi, yeah, I'm him. You sent your 11-year-old daughter over here." And then the mom comes over and says, "My daughter and I love your show. We watch Crazy Ex-Girlfriend together." And it seems almost like, wait, what? This seems inappropriate. But really, what's happening right now is there's a show that's super adult and arguably inappropriate for kids, but parents are watching it with their kids because of how smart and nuanced and real and, dare I say it, educational, compassionate, and relatable it is. You know, a lot of the topics on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend were taboo and difficult to talk about. So we don't talk about them, we sing about them. And we do it in a really fun way that highlights the truth, and whether good or bad, but also highlights the ridiculousness of it. And also, we infuse the fun and the point of view of the everyday person who's dealing with these things. Antidepressants are so not a big deal. Perfect example. Sexy Getting Ready song. Like that song, let's see how the boys get ready, and just cut to Santino Fontana as Greg just like asleep. And then cut back to like Rebecca Bunch just trying to shave things. Oh, she's like cutting herself. The curling iron, she burns her neck. It's just like all these little moments that so many people relate to. And I still get messages saying Sexy Getting Ready song is my favorite. I listen to it before I get ready for anything now. And it's really neat that our show created such a positive impact on people, to the point where, Scott, I'm still getting messages in other languages from people saying they've watched it. Oh, I've rewatched it 6 times. Oh, me and my friend watched it after I watched it all over. I watched it, and then now I got my friend to watch it with me. Or like now I got my boyfriend to watch it. Or it really created a ripple effect of how stories are told and what musical theater performers can do, and what the musical theater device can do when it is effectively introduced into a storyline and done by people who honor musicals but also honor great storytelling and complex, authentic, real characters, which we had on our show. And I think that's one of the reasons why it resonated with so many people and why it still does. So yeah, it was a diamond in the rough. It was a very special time. There's a reason why that poster, that's my poster.
Oh,
That's my wrap
nice.
poster.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
That's when we
amazing.
wrap the show. See the 2, the 0, the 1, and the 9? In the
Right?
2, that's every single photo in my phone from season 1. In the 0, every single photo in my phone from season 2. In 1, every single photo from season 3. In the 9, every single photo in my phone from season 4.
That's
And then the
amazing.
message above is from me, and there's a background in it too. You can see Crazy Ex-Girlfriend kind of in the background above. But then if you see there's a smaller writing, it looks like it's in cursive. If you look closely, they're quotes. But from who, you ask? I will tell you. They are quotes that I got from Instagram after I asked the question, for all Crazy Ex-Girlfriend fans, please tell me what you're going to miss most about the show and what the show has meant to you. I got so many responses. I had to hire my assistant to get all the data, and he put it into a document. It's a 65-page PDF document. And that's just like a few of the pages. But I sent that document, PDF, along with a smaller version of that poster. I brought it to the wrap party, and I said, "This is my gift to you. So if you ever want to know the positive impact that the show you worked on had on people, you have a 65-page PDF document that'll just remind you of how much it means to our fans." And then that is a reminder of how much everyone means to me.
What an amazing gift. I love that. I got to tell you, I'm a huge fan, like I said, of plays, musicals. Huge Glee fan before you. In fact, I'm having Kevin McHale from Glee on this Friday.
Hey,
We'll be talking to him.
Kevin!
So Kevin will be on, but it's like the thing that you did and Glee did is it was very adult. You talked to adults without being condescending, without being too over the head, that you could still see it with your parents. I mean, to go from head in the clouds to tap that, I mean, that's an accomplishment. And speaking of dancing, oh my God, your dancing was amazing in that
Thank you.
piece. I just, yeah,
Thank
I
you.
thought the show was just brilliant. I think you guys did an amazing job, and congratulations on all of that. So, loved it,
Thank you.
loved it, loved
Yeah.
it.
I'm glad you loved it too, because so did I. And I loved Head in the Clouds. I teach it. I teach that that's one of the combos from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend I teach every once in a while. It's either Head in the Clouds, Strip Away My Conscience, Angry Mad, people have asked about learning. California Christmas Time. It's Christmas time, so this is a good time for that. And I mean, I love Don't Be a Lawyer. I
That
mean,
was fun.
I
It was
didn't work.
fun.
I didn't work on that one. I just I just loved it. Like, I was there on set the whole time watching them dance that. Love's Not a Game. I was on set watching that. What You Missed While You Were Popular. I learned the choreography while I was on set doing it, even though like I was in it as Josh and Josh didn't dance in that number. And it was really hard for me not to dance.
I bet.
But I did it. But I did learn it. I was like, I'm going to be here for 8 hours. I'm going to learn all this choreography.
Love that.
But yeah, the time on Crazy X is pretty profound, and I
The
get a
last thing
little,
I'll say on it, I have a
yeah.
very good friend of mine that's been on my show a couple of times, a great actor. Fernando Rivera got to guest star for two episodes on the last season there as one the other Josh's boyfriend for a bit. And I mean, you are now a couple of you're near the end season. Said you guys were the kindest crew and cast to go on to such an established show. So that was just an extra layer for me of the kindness you guys had, and it
On
just
Crazy
showed
X.
on Crazy X. Yeah,
Oh
Fernando.
yeah, oh yeah. We had a very nice cast. Yeah,
Yeah,
we were kind. We yeah. Everyone was welcomed on our set. We created a great vibe, and that was the other thing I learned. It was like not all sets are like that. Unfortunately, some people have bad days, and in our set, if you had a bad day, most people wouldn't know because there was just too many people to support you. There's a lot of just support. There's a lot of friendships that birthed from that show. And, I still run into some of the people who worked on the crew of that show, like our props department or,
nice.
or our editor who won the Emmy, Kabir. Yeah. So the CXG Fam Bam is a very true thing that is still alive and well.
I love it. Well, let's kind of finish up with a couple of your more recent projects that I also
Okay.
Insatiable. I mean, I have good friends with Bill Alverson was the original producer on it for an episode or two. That's such a fun show. Christopher Gorham, I'm in love with. I was
Yeah.
Alias back in the day. So, did you have a good time working on that one, playing the detective?
Oh yeah, that was my first role after Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, playing Detective Rudy Cruz in season 2 of Insatiable. I had a great time. It was fun to fly to Atlanta and film it. I was always blown away by the ridiculousness and yet the also grounded drama that existed in Insatiable, because it was extreme, but it was also very obvious to me what the messaging was, and that I really appreciated, because it's risky to talk about some of these subjects. For Chris Gorham's character and Alyssa Milano, like uh, married couples who people find out they're bi or they're gay and wanting to open up the relationship or part or separate. For the hero character like Patty Bladell to be like a big person who lost weight for whatever reason and then gets revenge on people who wronged her, but then it turns into like a crime thing. And now you're dealing with high school, you're dealing with image, you're dealing with body shaming, you're dealing with, kind of coming of age. And I know it resonated with people because I saw all the hate, I saw all the animosity online about it. But then but the people who, who had the opposite opinion obviously caught the aspects of it that were very like painfully therapeutic. and like I remember watching season 1, and it was my first week of filming, and I was in my hotel room, and I was like, I'm gonna watch the whole season 1 so I understand where these characters have been, what's going on in the story, how they're telling the story, what's the messaging, what are the themes that are kind of common, what are we aiming towards. And I just cried because I felt the pain, and I think that's what art does. I think art, just like Crazy X, it gives you, it touches on the pain, but it makes it like a digestible pill. It doesn't taste very good, but it's digestible. You can kind of chunk it, in sections. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend did that with its songs. And Insatiable did that with its balance of ridiculousness and, sexualizing these characters, but also playing with their egos and their, how they deal with problems and the realities that each of those characters kind of lived in on their own. Like they all had their own truth, but they lived in this town. And it was really interesting to see that all unfold. So I had a great time on Insatiable. It was a lot of fun playing a detective too. Yeah, it was my first detective part.
Then give me a quick take on Arlo the Alligator Boy. I mean, such a coded show. I have to be 100% honest with you. I'm not super big into animation films. I like some of the classics and things. But after seeing your interviews with it and listening to, Follow Me is such a great American showman ballad. I mean, it just, and then you and Michael singing the Something Missing. It's coded, it's amazing, it's heartfelt. I had to watch it on Netflix. And like I said, I don't watch those kind of films. Talk about that project. That was kind of amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Arlo the Alligator Boy is an animated feature film that continues its story in a series called I Heart Arlo, and both are available on Netflix. I play Arlo's dad, Hansel Beauregard, and essentially, my character had a baby with an alligator. I'm a bird man, because in this world, like animals exist in humans, like humanoids, So my character fell in love with an alligator woman and produced an alligator baby, and and my character abandons that baby, and that baby gets raised somewhere, and then finds out that I'm the dad, and then that baby Arlo goes from being raised in a swamp, going all the way to the big city, New York, and looking for me, and meeting me, who's this iconic, like, rich man, but I don't want to have anything to do with him. And it's a sad beginning, but it ends with us reuniting, loving each other, starting anew. And Arlo, of course, brings his friends along with him, and they're the epitome of misfits, or the other, and you see them core together and love each other and accept one another, and it's just such a beautiful sentiment. So yeah, all that is online. Like, all the songs are on iTunes and Spotify, and you can watch all the music videos on YouTube, just like Crazy X. Yeah, I love these songs. Something Missing
Is that your
Inside
first
is
time doing
one
a
of my favorite.
voiceover work? Is that a first time?
That was my first lead. That was my first lead. Yeah, because before that I had only done English overdubs for Chinese animated feature films like White Snake and Neza. But Arlo the Alligator Boy was the first, and later came Disney. I'm the voice of Jeff, in season 2 of The Ghost and Molly McGee, and that is on Disney Channel.
How funny is
And
that,
soon,
Josh and Jeff? Though I got to tell you, that's
I
amazing.
know, it's the
That is,
Jays. It's the Jays.
I love that.
There's
Such a
something
fun
about the
twist.
Jays.
Everyone loves Vinny Rodriguez. That's so amazing.
Yeah, it's like I'll play anyone who with the first name that starts with a J. But yeah, that kind of set me on this trajectory, and now I'm working on my third Disney project, a Disney Junior animated series that I think that's all I can say. But I play a dad again, and so that's kind of cool. And my first one was I can't show you right now, but it was the animated feature film Raya and the Last Dragon.
That's
So
fantastic.
yeah, it was a lot
We
of
got to
fun.
start wrapping it up. I do need to ask you, though, because my good friends Manny and Sean have the Manny and Sean Experience podcast. They couldn't believe I was having you on the show. They need to know, all about your Henry Cruz character. They're in love with
I'm with
that
love.
series, and they want to know
Yes.
how is that to work on because they're just in love with you from that show. That's one of their favorite shows.
Uh, I'm so glad to hear that because Doing with Love for Prime Video, created by Gloria Calderon Kellett, and working with her associate Andy Roth, was I I could say a dream come true, but that's so cliche. It doesn't really tell you anything. It was a dream, a wondrous, love-filled, diverse, inclusive dream to be on a set and see people of color and to see again females in positions of leadership, and to see that I was, I'm number 4 on the call sheet, and the other 3 are female, Latino, or trans, or non-binary. Like, that is the future. And so getting to play Henry Cruz, as described by Gloria, a bisexual Filipino dreamboat, to me was an opportunity to, like, she didn't ask me to go to the gym. I kind of made a decision. I said, well, if I'm going to play this squeaky clean Prince Charming character for With Love, I want to look my absolute best, because when I grew up watching rom-coms, there was always this character, usually a white guy, and he was just incredibly sexy and charming, and everyone wanted him. And it was never discussed that he was so sexy. He just was, and I kind of wanted that for Henry. I wanted him to be this seemingly perfectionistic guy who was at a turning point in his life where he needed to find more balance, and meeting Jorge Diaz Jr. is a part of that balance. Because I did ask that question, why is Henry picking Jorge? Why is Jorge picking Henry? Why now? Like, I had, as an actor, we asked those questions. And what resulted was this beautiful unfolding of diverse families and multi-generations of love and depictions of that love. So you saw Latinos, Latinx, Filipinos, Chinese, non-binary, trans, experiencing joy and love and romance. There were no villains. There was no trauma. It was just that rom-com like that you always wanted to see, but starring the people who actually like live in your neighborhood, or who you would see at a grocery store or at the mall. Like, it was such it was a delight. Gloria Calderon Kellett led an amazing cast. And we had so much fun. Gloria would literally walk up to me. I'd be in my chair. She'd walk up to me doing pas de bourrées at me with arms. And then I'd get up and walk towards her like, hey, Gloria, what's up? What question do you have for me? And we're just doing arms. We're just doing pas de bourrées. We're doing kickball changes, because she's a theater gal. And so in that way, like, we had a lot of kismet, because I got to, we're both theater people, and she featured me in the show as a singer. So Henry sings in season 1, and then he dances a little bit, and then in season 2, I did get to sing again. I got to dance again, and I got to do magic. So I got to make my producing debut on the show, being the magic consultant for that episode, doing effects that I actually helped design for the show. And I also played choreographer and music director and song arranger for the song we did in season 2. So I actually still have learning tracks for Gloria, Desmond, and Nando, of me doing their movement and their vocal track at the same time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because that was my background. When I was doing musical theater for 11 years in New York, I was a swing, I was an understudy. So I had to develop that skill where you don't get to participate. You just have to observe and take notes, and then go off, work on it on your own, or on a 10-minute break, go into the space, walk through it, get familiar with it, and know it so that you can go on if someone got sick. And so that's actually how I did the boy band of 4 Joshes in Crazy X. It was 5 hours on a Saturday. Yeah, I played 4 versions of myself, and just me on a 5 hours on a Saturday. It's like, Vinny, are you worried? I'm like, no, it's just like being a swing. It's like these 5 different, same choreography, but different people. Got it. So got to be a good actor. Okay, acting. I'm going to be these different people, but the movement's the same. So, so yes, that's my huge tie-in of dance and magic and art with Love and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. And now on Christmas on Cherry Lane, the Hallmark movie I'm in, I sing on that too. My character Zian sings. So
That's how I
I
wanted
don't
to
know what
finish
it
up the
is.
interview. We have to talk about it. This is going to air the day before it airs on Hallmark Channel. You're going to be here
Okay.
tomorrow night, Saturday the 9th. You'll be on the
Yes.
Hallmark with Jonathan Bennett. You kind of tease it in the
Yes.
beginning of the interview, wrap it up, give us a little
Yes.
bit about the story. I didn't know you were going to sing. I'm excited all of a sudden.
Yes. So I get to play Zian Harrelson, one half of a same-sex couple in Hallmark movies Christmas on Cherry Lane, which appears this Saturday, December 9th at 8 p.m. And you're essentially watching three different families, and you're seeing how they all navigate Christmas time and the things that come with Christmas time, family, last minute jitters, or even family developments like Jonathan and I, our characters are trying to adopt a kid. And so you see all these different generations, um, you know, just dealing with all these things that happen around Christmas time, all these themes. And there's this beautiful kind of secretive way, I can't really give it up, of how our stories weave into one another. Um, uh, I will say that without giving it away, I will say that I did not see a whole lot of the other cast. I saw a very small handful of cast members. So
Gotcha.
it was very interesting to do press because some of us met. Like, wait a minute,
Imagine. Oh
we're in
my
the movie
gosh.
together, but we don't know. Yeah, but it's, man, the story is just gonna tug at your heartstrings. It was such a fun project to work on, and I think people are really gonna feel that sense of love and family and belonging by watching this very special and unique Hallmark Christmas movie, because it is going to stand out and in a really beautiful, positive, and uplifting way.
I love it. That's amazing. I'm a huge Christmas movie fan. I tape all of them all season long, watch them and cry
Nice.
like a little baby half the time. But
Oh,
congratulations. I'm so excited for that. Now, what about you and Greg and Kona? Do you guys go up to see your parents? You see his parents? How do you guys spend the holidays?
we change it up. In the past, we would visit family over the holidays. This year, we're going to try something different. We're going to be traveling for the holidays. So we're finding our another time to see family, but we're gonna go away.
Nice.
But yeah, we're gonna go away and have a different kind of Christmas, and we're changing it up this year.
Well, have a very happy holiday. I have to tell
Thank
you,
you.
I'm a bear of a certain age, so I don't have any youngsters to buy for anymore. And I get so excited when I meet people on the show like you. So, Left of Straight show, because of you and your background, I want you to talk about it for a quick second. We are going to donate $50 in your name to the Generation Barbershop, Next Generation Barbershop group. It's for young kids learning barbershop singing because I know you're a huge barbershop fan. So
I
I'm going to
love
donate
that.
$50 from the Left of Straight Show. It's the Barbershop Harmony Society, and that is for you, my friend, to say happy holidays. Give me a quick overview on your love of barbershop, and we'll head down to you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Well, one of my favorite quartets ever is the Newfangled Four, and I'm buddies with Jackson Nebruki, who sings lead for it. That group is revolutionizing barbershop, and I've been a huge fan of it since high school, discovering what was called SPEBSQA at the time, Society for Preservation of da-da-da-da-da-da. Now it's just Barbershop Harmony Society. But the idea that you can be a guest at any barbershop chorus in the world. You can just walk in and they'll welcome you, they'll sing to you, and they'll give you a guest book, and you can just sing with them and enjoy the camaraderie, the camaraderie and the community of making music with strangers. It's it's amazing, and there's a reason why whenever I go to Disney World and I always want to see the Voices of Liberty singing at Epcot, and because I know some of them now, I always ask to sing a tag with three of the other guys, and I always get a photo with the singers. I just love a cappella music, and I love the voice and how um, you put four voices together, specifically barbershop music. The way those chords are structured, it just rings in such a way that I think evokes a lot of emotion and has the potential to just like uplift people. And so some of my favorite barbershop quartets are the ones like the Newfangled Four, who bring comedy and levity and authenticity and kind of a sense of improv, which is like a real cool blend of old style barbershop and what is now coming up as this new generation of youthful, I would say innovated barbershop music and performance. So that's a really cool gift, Scott. Thank you for doing that. That is
You
so
are very
sweet.
welcome.
I'm a huge fan of the barbershop world. The Westminster Chorus in Orange County is one of the best in the world, and I love singing with them, and I champion all barbershop music all over. So if you love barbershop, we have something in common.
I do. I got to tell you, we have in Salem, Ohio, we have a yearly big convention thing, and I love going to it every year. So I saw we were kindred spirits in that, and I love giving back in the holidays because I don't have any kids to buy for, so it's always nice to do something. So this is for the Barbershop Harmony Society Next Generation Barbershop in honor of my very special guest, Mr. Vincent Rodriguez III. Let everyone know who might be sitting under a rock or something where they can find you on social media.
Oh yeah, sure. If you want to follow me on social media, my name is Vincent Rodriguez III, and on Instagram, I'm V Rodriguez III, and on TikTok, I'm Vinnie, VINNIE, letter R, number 3, and I'm also on Facebook. I have a page there, Vincent Rodriguez III, so Vincent Rodriguez III, and I'm pretty sure that's all the places you can find me.
All right. Well, we didn't even have a chance. We got to have you back. I had like 10 questions I didn't get to, but I'm taking so much of your time. So we will
I would
have
love
you
to.
back
Let's do it
soon.
again, Scott.
I need to talk about your dance classes and your acting classes and everything. So we need to go through all that.
Yeah.
But Vincent Rodriguez, absolutely a pleasure to talk to you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Scott.
All right,
Thanks,
stay on the
y'all.
line for me, guys. We're going to have a special 5 questions with Vinny next Tuesday, so be sure to look for that. We'll be doing that in just a little bit. Have a happy holiday, everyone. Watch Vinny's holiday movie tomorrow night on Hallmark, Christmas on Cherry Lane. Thanks for listening to Left of Str8 Show. We appreciate you. Be sure to subscribe and tell all your friends, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Left of Str8 Show. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast distributor, and please give us a 5-star rating so more listeners can find us. You can follow us on social media, and be sure to check out our website, www.leftofstraightradio.com, for contests and other news and information. See you next week.